This is an early draft of episode 22 of Static Squid, Microtransactions. Originally, this episode was supposed to be episode 21 of Static Squid, but that and the third console gen got swapped around. However, this version was made before that change. I'm really only calling this an early draft for consistency here. This is more so a test version. I really just made this to test new equipment and such. This version of the episode was never intended to be the final.
I'm feeling pretty funny today. You want to hear a joke? Alright. EA and Activision walk into a bar. The bartender looks at them and says, "Microtransactions, the future best friend of our country's health system." One group that aren't friends of the microtransaction is gamers. To be frank, we hate these things. Microtransactions can basically be defined as a purchase made within a game. Oxford defines it as a very small financial transaction conducted online, but that could be anything. By this definition, I can call me buying a brick from the Lowe's website a microtransaction. They're not wrong, but this word is almost exclusively used within gaming. For example, the real most prominent use of microtransactions, mobile games. I want to spend money! How it goes is that you'd spend $1 or $2 to get skins, currency, or just removing ads in a game on your phone. I've done this before. However, phones weren't the first ones to do it. The first game to introduce microtransactions was Double Dragon 3: The Rosetta Stone in 1990. The arcade version. I don't think there was a way to make payments through the NES, no matter how many quarters you put in it. The arcade version had items, special moves, and health that were purchasable by putting more quarters in the machine. However, the microtransaction model really gained steam in the early 2000s in South Korea. Games like Quiz and MapleStory by the company Nexon were free to play, but you could buy stuff within the game. For a while, the only games that had microtransactions were free-to-play PC games, as consoles weren't quite able to do things like that, especially in the early to mid-2000s. In 2005, though, the Xbox 360 came out and had a little something unique to it. There was a marketplace on the console that let you buy games from the Xbox Live Arcade, which is a whole other can of worms, but especially DLC for games. But the game industry was fucking weird back then, so for a while Microsoft had Microsoft Points instead of actual money. 400 points cost you $5, 800 points cost 10, and 1600 points cost you 20. I love not making any sense either, Microsoft. The virtual currency approach to games is nothing new. Games like Habba Hotel and Second Life had virtual currency systems years before the 360 came out. As stated a bit ago, the marketplace allowed for the purchase of DLC, and one of the first major games to do this was The Elder Scrolls Oblivion, which released a piece of horse armor in April of 2006 for $2.50. What was that? Live service games, free-to-play games with ever-changing content, use microtransactions a lot. The genre to use them the most is without a doubt Battle Royale games. Really getting their start with PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds in 2017, you got a ton of people being dropped into a map at the same time with one goal: be the last person or group standing. Now, despite coming out in 2017, PUBG has only been free to play since 2022 though. If you were too poor to play PUBG back then Fortnite Battle Royale was free, which probably worked in its favor. I could probably get castrated, crucified, even lectured in a Reddit comments section for this one, but I like Fortnite. I just simultaneously pleased and pissed off all 12-year-olds. I've had fun with the game. I think if you play it with friends or something, it could be a hell of a time. I've also spent money on it. I did buy the Battle Pass for Chapter 4 Season 1. Don't trust me with financial responsibility. I can spend my money on anything else, but come on, Patrick Mahomes is in Fortnite. He's the quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs. I need to play as him. Oh, this is not helping my case. I know, it's looked down upon to spend money in video games, but I've bought Angry Birds before. Don't question my ways. Also, Blanca from Street Fighter in a suit. Fortnite's microtransactions are essentially letting you buy a bundle of V-Bucks, and with those V-Bucks you can buy skins or other items off the item shop, like the Get Swifty dance from Rick and Morty. Now, Fortnite is free. You can go to your system, download it right now, and start having fun with a capital U. Some developers, however, like putting microtransactions in full-price AAA titles. I'm looking at you, Call of Duty. I'm trying my best to not, though. You can buy Call of Duty points, which is abbreviated as CP. They could have had their own acronym, but now they have one shared with Cheese Pizza and Club Penguin. You thought I was gonna say child porn. Damn it, I just said it. I don't play much COD to warrant me knowing anything about COD points. The newest one I have is Advanced Warfare, and that was a whole 5 years prior to them introducing this system. I just still think it's really funny how it's acronymized. Some paid games have loot boxes, which are usually free, found through progression, but free-to-play games have these loot boxes that you have to pay to open. Like, God, I would hate to be a fan of the game that created the system of buying separate items to open crates that you get at random. I wonder who started it. Team Fortress 2 is one of my favorite games. It's also the start of a plague. On May 21st, 2009, Valve released the Sniper vs. Spy update for the game, and on the final day of the update, Valve added something new: hats. They made one hat for every class, but then every subsequent update had more hats until eventually Valve released crates in 2010 that randomly drop, with a catch. You needed to buy keys for these crates, and then they added more crates that needed their own keys to unlock, though keys are only like $3 across the board. But also Overwatch had loot boxes. I never played Overwatch 1, and it's not like I can anymore because they shut it down.
Oh well, didn't miss much.
The loot box system was under scrutiny and got into everyone's favorite
legal issues.
Yeah, governments specifically in Europe didn't like loot boxes, especially in games easily accessible to children due to loot boxes essentially being considered gambling. In a way, they are totally gambling. You pay to use these loot boxes without even knowing what's inside. You might get a good item or something completely garbage, which is essentially gambling.
But remember, kids, 90% of gamblers quit right before they make it big.
Loot boxes are ever so prevalent in mobile games. Nintendo fucking loves loot boxes for some reason. Mario Kart Tour was a game plagued with loot boxes until that system was removed in October of 2022. I personally don't play mobile games with loot boxes. I rarely play mobile games as is, and I don't think it's possible for Picross to have loot boxes. One of the most infamous examples of microtransactions was in the game Star Wars Battlefront 2 in 2017. Which is a paid game. During its pre-release stage, one Reddit user acknowledged that while they spent $80 on the deluxe edition, Darth Vader still required a ludicrous amount of credits to unlock, and while credits could be gathered without spending a dime, the amount of time it would take to get enough credits to unlock a single hero was 40 hours of straight grinding. If you didn't want to grind that hard, pay up, bitch. In a response to this Reddit post, EA said this system was to give players a sense of pride and accomplishment. People didn't like that, and the comment became the most downvoted comment in all of Reddit's history. Whoops. A big thing against microtransactions is that they could be predatory, used to squeeze as much money out of you, or even worse, children. One kicker is the social aspect of owning microtransactions. Children might feel peer pressure to own skins in Fortnite, for example, since having no skins or no dimes spent on the game in general is looked down upon with children. Peer pressure is a big issue.
And it's one that I'm gonna have to stop if I want to rid the world of all microtransactions. Damn narcs trying to stop me once again. They told me that I'm allegedly trespassing, and that I shouldn't be at a school playground at my age, and that I should just stop harassing a group of first graders. Well, I'm just sorry that I'm trying to save the damn world. What's next? You're gonna tell me dogfights are illegal? I have an issue.